So put your head.
My name is BC Ryder. I'm from Long Beach, California, and make jungle music. BC Ryder stands for Beach City Rider, because I'm from the city and this is what I represent. You know, this is what influenced me and my sound. You know, growing up on these streets, skating, you know, living the graph life, the hip hop life, just living life in general. So I wanted to represent that in my music as well. I was probably about 10 or so, 10, 11. I used to stay up late watching MTV Amp. Like a lot of electronic music used to come on there at night. Didn't really understand it, but I thought it was cool. Also, I used to watch a lot of anime too, and there was this show called Fist of the North Star, and that show, they had, you know, what I found out now is jungle off of this label called Reinforced, and they ended up doing the whole soundtrack for the cartoon. Like the first time I heard you know, Congo Nadi Junglist, and he's all, I mean, before making records, the hood was my savior. As soon as the shit started, I was like, man, that was it. That, like, so many samples I thought was dope that like represented a whole culture. I was at this club called Smokies back in the day, and shout out to my man R.A.W. He was beat juggling 2 records, Man of Steel, like these Superman tracks, and my man was beat juggling them. And from that day, I was like, well, I know where my life is going. And it was to the jungle. And yeah, I started, also there was another time I was at this party in Hollywood, and it was Scarab and Picasso from Living Legends, and it was a 2-night event, and it was hip hop one night and it was jungle the other night. So when Picasso got on the mic, he starts beatboxing. He's like, yo, hi, hey, I want you to mix in to me beatboxing. And he starts beatboxing and shit, and I'm like, damn, this is tight, you know? And that's all, and that's not coming from the experience that I had just going to these events and feeling the vibe of me not having to go and put on, you know, a pair of Jinkos, and like it was, you know, I could just mob around with some khakis and a hoodie, smelling like Mickey's and shit, and still fit in. Like I just, you know, that was it. So those are the things that influenced me to, you know, be like, okay, I could do this, because it was basically already a part of me. When I first got into the game, I was an MC. I used to rap. I started writing my first rhymes when I was 12. I didn't really start recording until I was 16. Started rapping with my cousin Concept and shit, and like just grew up from there. Like got on my first song. Like I went from talking about girls to talking about just straight graffiti, hip hop. It was dope. Like it was dope. Started finding my own niche, incorporating my own style with it, you know. And then I was rapping with a couple homies out in Oceanside, and I was on the computer and I was fucking around with some beats, and the homie was just like, yo, maybe if you move this over, you'll get what you're trying to do. And I did that, and fuck, the rest was history. I just started going in. That was 2005, 2004. While I was doing that, I was already DJing. I used to buy vinyl. Like I bought my first pair of turntables from my homeboy Gimma. It was like it was a direct drive and a belt drive. Motherfuckers was janky as fuck, but hey, I made them work. I had no fucking headphones. I was like, I had the shit plugged into like some 1980s mixer with like plugged into my stereo and shit, like listening to the speaker, like listening to the sound on the record, like didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then, you know, once I got a pair of headphones and really started kicking it with the homies and shit, started hanging out with more people that think like myself. Like, you know, that's when I really started getting more into DJing, and ever since then I just haven't stopped with it. Nah, if I get something, I'm gonna use that motherfucker. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, I'm buying it for a reason. I got this Akai S2000 that I run all my samples in because there's nothing like it, you know. I got my 1200s, I got my CDJs, I got, you know, I buy things that I need. Like, I don't buy, you know, you gotta understand your differences between your needs and your wants. Sometimes you want some shit and you ain't even gonna use it. It's just gonna be sitting there. You know what I'm saying? I got an 8-track Tascam 8-track DAT sitting in the back. I don't even use that motherfucker. But it's all good. Well, I carry myself. I have a certain style that I carry myself with. You know, I play a lot of like hard drums, a lot of deep stuff, but I tend to carry a lot of tracks with like rare grooves, a lot of soul samples in it, a lot of rocket samples, because that's what really moves the crowd, is the harmony. And when you combine the two, it's a beautiful thing. Like, you know, leave it how it is. All you gotta do is just lift up the sound. I told this to many people over the years. And, you know, I've dealt with a lot of labels where they fuck with your shit. So I just was like, well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna let anybody fuck with my shit no more. And I took charge. I did like James Brown and started running my own shit independently. And we've been going ever since. We're actually on our 20th release. We just dropped a vinyl release called Ganja Plates. This shit just got in the mail. Shit is tight as fuck. I got myself on there, my boy Johnny 5, and the homie Meditate and Set 1. These are all people that influenced me throughout the years. And it's like an honor to be on there with them. You know, it was mixed by a friend of ours named Ed 808, and it was mastered by a legendary jungle producer by DJ Sapo. And by us just having our logo and our stamp on the record is just a beautiful thing, you know? Like, it just, you feel complete. And that's what we're all about, man. We're all about growth. Me and the homie was in the backyard smoking a blunt, and we was like, man, we should start our own company, because I was already on this label and we had a badass fallout and shit. So I was like, man, fuck this shit, man. Like, this motherfucker could do it. Like, I know we could do this shit. And, you know, so we was like, yo, so what do you want to call it? He was like, yo, we should call it Yeska, because, you know, we was from a skate crew called Yeska on the west side, you know what I'm saying? A gang of the homies and shit, smoke weed, skate. Like, it was like kids, but in Long Beach at Silverado and shit. And at the island. And so we go there. This is where we do our official mixdowns, where the albums are going to be done, where people are going to be sitting down to do demos, just bringing it back to the actual business, because that's the thing I feel is missing in this music, is everybody could run a label, but nobody wants to be the businessman. You could have digital releases for 15 years, but that's not gonna, I don't see any progression in that. You can't call yourself a record label if you ain't pushing any records.